Mm.
Sure. Like a lot of investors, I actually started not too long ago. It felt like yesterday, 5 years ago. I just started working at that time. Actually, I stayed at home for 10 years. So at that time, I just went back to the workforce. I'm still working in the same job right now. And after a year, I thought I should do something different because
Right.
the more I worked, the more I make, the more tax I get charged for. And I always
Mhm.
believed in real estate, right? And you read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad?
Yeah, yeah, I think lots of people start there. That
Yeah,
part.
I read the book and it was kind of planted the seeds in the back of my mind.
Mhm.
And I'm still in the same industry, just to give you a little bit of background. So it's computer hardware repair. Completely different from real estate.
That is different.
Yeah, but that shows anybody can do real estate, right? And it also
Mhm.
depends on what you're interested in. I've always interested in how money works. I
Yeah.
have business background, and I thought real estate was a really good vehicle. If
Mhm.
somebody's willing to show me the way, I was willing to invest in myself and learn about it. So basically, that's how
Nice.
I started.
I see. So, okay. So, did you have someone kind of like a mentor or someone teaching you like the ropes of real estate when you first started?
Yeah, back in the days, not everything was online. So the app popped up on my Facebook feed, and it was a free seminar. And at that time, I knew I was ready. I knew there was going to be an investment. I thought if somebody was going to teach me how to make money in real estate, I'm willing to invest and just start doing it and take action.
Right. Was that okay? I see. So, yeah, that's something with me too. Like, I had my friend Ryan kind of introduced me to his real estate business, and then we started doing wholesaling together. And I realized like I got that first belief check too,
Yeah.
and that kind of made me see like, oh, it's not that hard. Like I thought you needed lawyers and like attorney and all this to just make a deal go through, but it's quite straightforward once you get going with someone who already knows, like who doesn't get hung up on the complications, right?
Yeah. Sure, you do need your power team to help you get the deal through.
Mhm.
Because I went through a lot of traditional education. I know there's a lot of people who are engineers or who have sales background, who are IT, accountant, etc. Real estate, the numbers are actually pretty straightforward. And I think if people can learn to do complicated things, real estate really is not that complicated. Before I get educated, I will say one thing though. I thought it's just buying and selling and look for deals, buy cheap and flip. And after I learned about it, I realized, hey, my God, there's so much you can do, right?
Yeah.
Because it's actually about literacy, financial literacy,
Yeah.
because you can do so much. And real estate is a good vehicle to do that because
Mhm.
there's so much you can do. Like people do things with gold, with natural resources, options, stocks. And for me, real estate is tangible. And I've seen the power of real estate, even not knowing anything,
Right.
just having our primary residence and see how appreciation and see uneducated. And now I look back thinking, well, yes, I saw wealth. I saw how real estate could create wealth.
Mhm.
And even with uneducated eyes, I saw the potential. So if somebody can show me how to do it right, at that point I thought, okay, then I'm gonna follow somebody who can show me how to do it. And that's actually my mentor Tim, who I basically started my real estate journey with. Right? Sure, you take courses. I don't know about you. For me, if somebody's there to hold you accountable, it's very different from
Mm.
just learning about it. Like you mentioned, your partners, right?
Exactly. Yeah, Tim's awesome for that too, to hold you accountable. I think I'm accountable for a Vancouver trip here as well during that
Yeah.
night. So he got me to commit to that. He's a very really good motivational guy, like I think it's important to
Yes.
have that pep when you're leading a team. So he's doing a
Yeah.
great job.
At the same time, also your peers, because people on the same journey at the same time with you, you kind of help see each other grow. And it's
Yeah,
exciting because real estate is not limited. It's not because you have a deal, I cannot have a deal. You bought that house, that doesn't mean I cannot find other deals.
Hmm.
So there's the abundance mindset in real estate, and everybody helping each other out. Like if you want a lead or somebody else could probably help you with a deal if you're looking for references, realtor or mortgage broker, accountant, lawyer, etc.
Yeah.
And people in the community are very helpful, right?
That's true. And that's awesome. It's very different than contracting. It's much more like we're on a team together. We all are incentivized to make the deal go down. So,
Yeah. I I I do want to say sometimes if you're just in front of sitting in front of the computer analyzing the deal, that could be boring. Right? And you know, entrepreneurs, I mean, we get that. At the same time, it's also good to have networking events like the one you went to, and that's how we met.
yeah, that was key. And I think like now is such a good, I mean, the opportunities kind of past now, but now such a good time for networking events because it's been absent for so long. So lots of people are looking to have that experience again. And usually it's like such a positive one. Like Tim had people fly out from like across Canada. And like you said, yeah, like you, which I'm glad you did. And I thought that was so cool to see like the support network come through, as well as like realize that you all went to class together and you all studied the same thing, kind of started at the same level and gradually progressed up. Right? That's proof of concept, right? So that's pretty powerful.
Yes,
Yeah.
really, it's all about taking action too. A lot of people have been thinking about it, especially now with YouTube and everything. Everybody thought, yeah, the knowledge is there, and we're
Mm.
not hiding anything. If people want to read my book or ask me how to do it or watch YouTube clips, it's all out there. But the funny
Mhm.
thing is, like, people kind of have grasped that idea. Not everybody has the courage or willing to get over the hump or get out of their comfort zone to do it.
Yeah. Maybe we need to start giving out YouTube University certificates, right? Maybe
Yeah.
maybe that proof of concept. So Brooke, I noticed something at the real estate meeting. That was actually the first networking real estate meeting I've went to so far. So it was awesome to kick it off so well. But something I noticed was everyone kind of was familiar or had a connection inside of the REIN network. And I was just curious, like, how powerful do you think REIN is and kind of what is it for people that don't know, like me? I'm not too sure about what it is. I know it's a real estate network, but to what extent, I'm not too sure because it seems like it was very popular before and probably still is very popular now.
Yeah. I actually only been to a couple of their events, the
Mm,
acre events. So real estate community, somehow everybody is interconnected. So you know,
yeah,
we trust your talent, and a lot of us started at different places, different stages in life, and different resources to start from. Regardless, it's about networking, right?
mm-hmm,
So when people get started, like you said, you started with your friend, and same thing. I thought about it. A lot of people just buy a pre-construction condo or something, but once you get into the real estate community, you realize that's not really a strategy. Speculating is not a strategy. That's what I'm
mm-hmm,
trying to get to. So yes, the network is a big part of it, and at the same time, get yourself educated and step by step. We always say find your goal first, find your why first, then
mm-hmm.
find your goal, then find your strategy, then find your market, then find your property. And once you know these steps, then you research on the market, for example. So, for example, probably that's where you networked
Yeah,
and start to build your power team, right?
right. Power team. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I like what you told me in our other meeting about depreciation isn't guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
If you want, can you touch on that a little bit and why forced appreciation is okay, but speculative appreciation not so much?
It's about control, right? If you want
Mm,
consistent results, you cannot depend on factors that you cannot control. I'm in Ontario, so luckily since I started investing, I've seen appreciation. I've seen properties going up like 30% within a matter of few months, especially
that's
recently.
awesome.
That's awesome, but you cannot depend
Yeah.
on that. You cannot depend on that because you don't know that's gonna consistently be happening. That's the same thing as, buying a stock, just banking on the price and nothing
Right.
else. So if you want to show consistent results, that's not what you are banking on.
Right.
So an investor is about control. Control how much cash flow, control my income, etc. So at the same time, the property, well, we've seen appreciation, of course, but there was also
Hmm.
a period of time where I've seen downtown condo prices went down a lot, and nobody wants to rent in those places. So the prices was a lot lower, and a lot of people are actually, if you catch the opportunity, you get a lot of um, under market value condos. If that's
Yeah.
what, yeah, then if that's your primary residence. However, it's not about speculating.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
is a big benefit during a crash. There's always a big opportunity if you're brave enough to get it usually. Unless you're the one crashing, then run away. Um,
It's
um,
we call it cherry on top. So
mm,
if it's something you see, you capture that, that's great. However, that's not the only thing
right.
that you're banking on.
Exactly. That's a good way to put it. Yeah. It is like a cherry on top, the extra
Hmm.
sprinkles.
That's
Um,
right.
so Brooke, I guess like what's kind of life on the like so you're working right now too, right? Full time? So
Yes.
what's on your off time then what's life like on the real estate front? Like what's day to day like and kind of
Life of an
insights on
investor.
it? Hmm?
Yeah.
As an investor. Yeah.
Depending on what stage you're in, I constantly talk to, say, mortgage broker, banks a lot,
Mm.
and right now a big part of it is spreading the good words, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now with Treasure Telling, we have a lot of students who are spreading the words that we want everybody to have the kind of freedom, mainly the control of life or options you have in
Hmm.
life. So as an investor, yes, there's a lot of opportunities. To start, sometimes, yes, you have to hustle and first build your team, find opportunities, and set yourself up for success. It's either building up your company or learning a lot to get
Hmm.
yourself started. So I like the analogy of, because we're in real estate, if you just start to do it, you don't have a good foundation, right?
Yeah.
So it's like building a house so quickly, you have to lift the house and then put the foundation in later on, which we know
Mhm.
is costly. It's always a lot more costly to fix a problem than setting things up right up in the
Right.
front. It's either educating yourself, setting yourself up right,
Mhm.
and go back to always realizing, hey, why am I doing this?
Mhm.
Because to be frank, it's not going to be smooth. It's not always going to be smooth. The banking or mortgage rules are getting tighter, or sometimes people are complaining harder to get funds, harder to get approved, and things
Right.
like that. Or permits or building materials are harder to get, prices go up, etc. I'm just listing a few things
Big
that,
time right now.
yeah, I've heard recently. So you have to have a strong enough reason to love what you do, to know why you're doing this.
Mm.
So when there are problems, nothing seems to be a big problem. It's small enough compared to what you're trying to achieve. And
100%.
yeah, that's the thing. You're still very young, I get that. At the same time, you also have some life experience, and that's why
Hmm.
you're doing this, right?
Yeah. No,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's key is the foundation, right? And the foundation extends to like your network as well, because you need good players to play off of that are teaching you the right practices,
Yeah.
which is why TYT is kind of doing the good work right now by just giving people the nice foundation to start and then watching them build and helping them build upon that. So I
Mm-hmm.
like that. I think that's really missing, and I think there needs to be more of that. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
awesome what you guys are doing.
Yeah,
Um,
and building upon our experience, so you don't have to reinvent the wheels, or in Chinese we say go through the curved road instead of getting the most direct way of getting there. So ensure saving you time.
yeah, saving your time is really like, of course, everyone wants the quickest way possible, right? but sometimes when we cross the street, like we really are crossing the street at the longest point of the street, right? You can
Yeah.
get closer to your destination and cross quicker, which makes it safer. For instance, like people save you years and years just through giving knowledge and verbal communication to you. And it really should not be underestimated. People are like one of the most valuable and awesome things we have right now. And yeah, if they can save you time, you can't buy time. So it's more valuable than the money, right?
Mm-hmm. And it's true about not just about investing, technology wise too. I mean, I
Yeah.
mentioned I'm in the computer industry, right? So back in the days, sometimes it takes a very long time to get to where we are. But to the next stage of communication, for example, it's only taking a year or two, right? Once the internet was up. But before then, it took years and years and years to develop just one product. Right now, everything that's developed, the hardware, the software, everything was fast. What used to take us years and years takes us half a year. That just goes to say, same thing with investing. You're building upon other people's experience.
Mhm.
So if you start from the beginning and scratch, yes, of course it's gonna take you longer. If you build upon what's already there or other people's experience, then you can expedite it for sure.
That's a good insight. That's something I didn't grasp when I was really, really young, but now
You're so
definitely.
young. You're so young.
Yeah, that's true. So I guess I'm talking to the right person for this question then, since you're from the techie side. I'm guess so something that helped me when I first started contracting is like I was going in green. I was like, oh, I don't know how to make a contract. Like I had a legal paralegal assistant, which is basically a legal assistant background. So I was like, oh, I kind of get contracts, but I didn't know how to actually make them, and I thought I had to create them on like a document. But no, the easiest thing for me to do, which Ryan told me, was download an app. It's called Joist. Joist is the best contracting app there is, and I mean it's free, which makes it the best, and simple, which makes it the best, right? So you can just invoice and estimate, and it all goes to the email. You can do electronic signature, and it's all free, which is crazy to me because I've been using it for like 8 years now. So yeah, Joist helped increase the contracting game because I could collect a signature on the spot right after giving an estimate, right? So I'm
It's called
guessing
Joyce.
Joist, right? So my question to you would be, what kind of apps within the real estate community would be kind of similar to Joist in saving time and like really increasing productivity? Like some secret real estate apps, if there is any.
Actually, I'm not that. Even though I'm in hardware, I like things simple. Sometimes if
Mm.
the technology is pretty hard to use, then I actually stay away from it. So I'm actually using very simple stuff. I mainly use Excel still.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
Excel is a superpower in real estate.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And right now, a lot of DocuSign and stuff like that save us a lot of time
right.
versus having to travel around a lot.
Mhm.
And that reminds me, you don't really have to be, because of all the technology, you don't have to be right in the market you're investing if it doesn't meet your strategy, if it doesn't meet your investment goal. Like I'm in Toronto, I'm not going to see
Mhm.
cash flow, right, in a single family home. Then I find alternative strategy and then I go outside of Toronto, for example, because you really don't have to be there.
Mm.
And
Yeah, long distance
even,
investing.
yeah, and even if you say if you don't have the app or something, somebody else can do it. And one big thing is, let other people help you too. You're not a one person game.
Mhm. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
Even though sometimes it feels like it, you definitely have people in your corner.
Do what you love, because there's so many things to do. Like if you have general contracting background, that's not my strong suit, so I hire people to do that. I still bookkeep my own stuff and I distribute the cash flow to my investors because I love money. I love to see money flow.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, I love to see money in, coming out, and flowing money freely. And I
Mhm.
think that's part of wealth, right? I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
to me, that's what I love to see. And I know people are interested in seeing the finished product. So a lot of people love distress to converting distressed property and flip properties, for
Mhm.
example. So that's why I love real estate. Anybody can find something that they love. I'm not like engineer kind of love numbers, but I love money. I love wealth. I love to see money flow.
Yeah, that having that cash flow in come in is like that blood coming in, which indicates that something in the wheel is turning efficiently. So yeah, I like seeing that too. Um, I guess so what would some big names in the industry be that you hear about often, or maybe like some smaller names that maybe don't have like social media presence at all, but people still like they're really active in this space, I guess, like kind of thought leaders within real estate. Just some like Grant Cardone's one of them,
Hmm.
right?
People I listen to,
Yeah,
actually, to me, mindset is more than anything.
yeah.
Um, um, by doing so many different strategies, I get really creative with my deals. At the same time, I kept thinking it's a mindset because the more deal you do, I don't think that the strategy and the hard skill is that hard.
Mhm.
So,
Okay.
um, I watch Tom Bilyeu. His podcast is
I like him
amazing.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's called Impact Theory.
Mhm.
So anybody I look up to, he has been interviewing those people, and he is one of the person I listen to all the time.
Mhm.
Um, and other ones, it just depends on, who comes up. You mentioned Grant Cardone, so I was watching Undercover Billionaires.
That was key in my journey for some reason. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I love that show too. So at different point in time, I watch different things.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I think because also we're stuck at home a lot, so I listen to a
Mhm.
lot of podcasts.
Yeah.
Also, one thing, well, actually, Tim, my mentor Tim, actually recommended it, how it's built. So it interviewed a lot of founders of different industries.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
so I listened to that show too, and of course Brendan Burchard's podcast. I listened to that, and actually my hero, like who I follow a lot, is
Yeah.
Oprah and Tony Robbins.
Oprah's
Um,
queen.
hmm yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah, and we actually, when I was in Edmonton, one of the things is we were doing a Tony Robbins business mastery training all together.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that was a good one too.
Yeah. Tony Robbins is actually a really inspirational guy. I think most people like didn't wasn't there a lot of TYT coming out of that area of Tony Robbins too?
Everybody's different, but I think whoever is, big on mindset and stuff like
Yeah,
that, you'll find
Tony
a lot
Robbins.
of people watching the same thing and listening and following the same people.
Hmm.
And we will constantly read different books together. So one of the things TYT does is, I'm trying to see if I have books near me, but they're upstairs. There are a lot of books that we read together, and once a month students are assigned a book. So one of the
Hmm.
book is Go Giver, that
Yes.
everybody reads on our team, and also students too.
Hmm.
Yeah, Never Split the Difference, and Starting with Why. There are a lot of books around. I mean, if you want to start, there's an endless list of
That's true. Yeah.
books and things to listen to. And at different times, for example, for me, sometimes I feel like at that point, this is something I need. Like lately, I've
Right.
been reading about relationships.
Hmm.
And before that, I was reading about sales and negotiation. So it's always something new to learn. But mindset stuff, it's constant. You have it's
Hmm.
uh, so you have to constantly get yourself inspired. It's like showering. You get to be refreshed all the time.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah, it's not always about like just the nitty gritty and like ninja strategies of real estate. It is a huge mindset barrier, like incredibly so. Like I underestimated it, and I'm sure a lot of other people do too. But at different times in your journey, you will need different things. Like sometimes Outwitting the Devil comes into play, and it's an audio book, and it's not so religious, but it's just you just take the principles from it, and
Your
like
puppy.
that usually helps. Yeah, she's talking. That usually helps when I'm kind of lost, or I feel like I'm not on the right track, or like going for the goal, like eating the frog. So sort of is what I mean. So going for that hard thing that's difficult, but probably accounts for 80% of the, the growth, right? So that's true. Right now, it's always changing, right? If you're learning a different niche, it has to be more knowledge orientated. If you're overcoming the boundaries, more motivation and more mindset.
Yeah, and I think one thing you and I talked about is also health, right?
Yeah, health is key. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So when you are going through something or some family member, I mean, for you it's probably yourself. For me, it's like my family member. My dad went through a period of time. Like it's always a close call. So that gives you the incentive to read something about health or do something about your life. And at different point in time. So perhaps at, before my dad passed, I read a lot about near-death experience or the life and death book of Tibetan and things like that. So again, it's at different point in life. It's always something you're learning, and also there's a period of time I always stuck in the past. I always felt it. I always wake up thinking about it, and that made me feel bad and sad because I got stuck in that point in time. Then I read about being present. I read about how not let your thought dominate what you feel in the morning, and how not to make the past real, and things like that. I mean, at different point in time, whatever your life experience is, there's always something to learn, and there's the funny thing is there's always a book that will help you, or several books.
Mm-hmm.
Even
Next book,
yeah.
next book I read, hopefully it tells me how to not let the snooze button dominate my life. You can get up early.
Oh, I think there's a book about waking up at 5 a.m. I forgot who the author is. I just listened to it not too long ago.
It's kind of like time hacking. That's what turned me on to the idea of like waking up so early. It's like you're getting an extra 3 hours,
Uh-huh.
right? Just
Yeah.
by kind of being a little bit groggy by 8 p.m. Pretty good sacrifice.
Yeah, I can see that because like I have family members, I have kids. That's when everything is so quiet, nobody bothers you, and you can do
Yeah,
something and
exactly.
keep your mind fresh. Yeah, or the other way around. I don't sleep a lot. I actually sleep very little. I don't recommend it to everybody.
Mm.
However, I felt like I have slightly more time than other people because of that. At the same time, I have to sleep well of the time I get to rest
Mm-hmm.
as well. Yeah.
Yeah, getting that like full capacity functioning during your peak hours are important, like during the day. Hey, Brooke, so what like who are you I guess the next question would be like what kind of team have you constructed around yourself, and like how's that support network going, and kind of how's that going?
My network, it's actually pretty big, and I'm very proud of my network. It's people I love, I care about. So within Trust Your Talent, of course, we have been a community even before Trust Your Talent was established last year in January. So within my peers, we were always close, and even if I wanted a power team member, I would ask for references, and that's actually the best way to go about it. Ask for references from people you trust first. And I have a few mortgage brokers I work with. I have lawyers I work with. If one doesn't work out, I can have more than one to work with. Realtors, for example, that really depends on what market I get in, because that's very market dependent.
Yeah.
Even 2 blocks away, we have different realtors in the school district area, for example. So you're constantly expanding your network. And even when I talk to you, to me, you're such a new and fresh young investor, like for the next generation. And for my power team, I actually thought about like just from working with different people. sometimes people who are established are very, very busy, which is good and understandable.
Yeah.
However, are they scalable and taking care of all the clients, including myself? So I also like to work with people who have the drive, who have the hunger to start.
Mm,
And I know they're going to be good. I know they're going to have a lot of clients one day because I'm their first client or, started the journey with them in the beginning. So I
mhm.
would be taken care of. I also like to work with people like that. And if they
Yeah,
approach me to say, hey, I want to work with an investor, can we start working together? I like to work with people like that too.
exactly. Yeah, someone new breaking in um, has much more time, right? As well as much more drive and motivation, and they can you can expedite their process faster than you can as someone like already in the space who's like not really complacent but seasoned, I guess, because you can't. I don't know. Sometimes momentum is the fastest when you're first going down the hill.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you
So,
want both. You want people with experience, you also want people with the drive. I'm
oh
willing to work with both. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I
So,
don't like to work
like,
with people who been in the industry forever, kind of just comfortable and not having the drive and treat it like a job.
mm-hmm. Yeah, I see what you mean. I know what you mean. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I think your the tip about like asking your tight network for like, hey, do you know any good contractor or any good mortgage broker? I think that secondhand referral system is really like the best thing. Some like it's just such a warmer lead, you know. Cold outreach, it sometimes feel like you're kicking your tires and like no one wants to talk to you or give you the time of day. And it's just like, oh, I'm just looking for a connection here, really, because I want to know more about the space, or I'm worried about like what I'm doing, is it wrong? Or I'm curious if they have a cooler strategy, like maybe they're closing deals, but not even seeing it and going there sight unseen. And to me, that's like a very cool and elusive strategy. But I wouldn't do it like alone. I would love to see how you do it.
Yeah,
And then that's
definitely.
how you have to bring value, of course, when you're approaching. That's an important thing. It shouldn't always be the one-way street, right? Because a relationship two-way
Exactly.
street.
Exactly.
Two-way.
That's a good point. I was gonna add to that because a lot of people are thinking, it's transactional. I'm looking for relationship with somebody. So, say for example, somebody wants to work together with me. There's so many deals. Sure, let's try one deal together. If the first deal doesn't go through, it doesn't work out well. If I mainly I want to work with somebody who's ethical. So if
Yeah.
something doesn't go well, then hey, transactional. We probably do one deal together and that's it. However, as investors, we constantly have repeat business. I'm looking for people who want to have repeat business and don't just care about making money on one deal.
Yeah, exactly. That the first home wholesale lot I did was this lot in Riverdale in Edmonton. And where that is, it's just the lot was backing the river valley. So like the river goes through and the lot has the back, right? It's a pretty good property. But when we sold that to the home builder, they're actually coming back this month asking for another lot. So that blew my mind. I was like, that was the coolest repeat business I've ever had. And like yeah, it goes to show, you know, if you become an active player and you look for the long term only, then people do have a long term mentality in this niche, so they will treat you long term as well, right? And that's kind of what you're looking for, is a long term partner, right?
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, what's the point, right?
Yeah, you gotta enjoy what you do, and people is a huge part of it. If you don't
Mm-hmm.
enjoy working with your power team or the people who wants to do deal with you, there's no point. Because yes, we make money out of one or two deals. However, sometimes it's just not worth the hassle to make that money and just do one deal unhappily together. So
Mm-hmm.
to me, it's important. You probably feel the same. Even when you first in contact with somebody, you kind of have that report and have the chemistry, and you know if you want to work with this person or not.
Yeah, yeah. Usually based. on personality and risk traits. And yeah, when they get so technical, it just makes me want to be quiet and listen more. But sometimes there is business to be done. But
Yes.
I love it when people get technical about their craft because it shows passion as well as knowledge.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. So what do you think? Like some major risks are coming in. Obviously, it's investing, so you could take a loss, right? Because nothing's guaranteed. Do you think? Do you have any strategies to kind of mitigate the risk a bit? Because I know you have a financial background pretty strong, and I'm not sure how, but I know it's there. So I think it would be valuable to learn like how to mitigate some risk if you had any ways.
We always say you have more than one exit strategy. So yes, I went to business school. I went to MBA at Schulich School of Business in Toronto at York University. So my
It
background.
shows.
I actually, when I started real estate investing, I never told anybody. Even I think my team member only knew since because we started TYT, we kind of went through our resumes. Anyhow, but then yes, that's what I am interested in. And usually when you're in school, you're being taught to be employees. You take care of
Yeah.
other people's money. I actually went through CFP training too. I almost got the
Mm.
destination, and then I got my babies. That's besides the topic. The point is, right now you're looking at it differently because now you're an investor. You're the business. You're not looking at it as a job and taking care of other people's business. So yes, you're taking care of your business and find win-win situation for your investors, for your tenants, for different parties involved. And yes, you have to have more than one exit strategy. That's logic. That probably not related to business training. It's just that you always have a backup plan. If your only strategy like selling stock, like we talked about speculation, your only
Mhm.
exit strategy is the price go up in the market.
Yeah.
That doesn't involve any training, and that's not repeatable. Something
Mm.
has to be repeatable, scalable to be successful business. So if you're looking for funding, always have backup plan. When you get started, it's a little bit harder. Your only backup
Mhm.
plan is the bank, and then I've got a lot of people coming to me saying, I make $300,000, but I already maxed out my mortgageability." It's very true because no matter how much you make, you buy your primary residence, buy one or two properties, you're done, and your debt ratio is through the roof already. So
Yeah.
yes, you have to get creative. You cannot just have bank and your job as as the way to qualify for a mortgage and get deals
Right.
done. So yes, always have backup plan, and you have to have a deal that's good enough, even if you have to pay interest or find alternative financing. The deal has to be good enough. So you
Mhm.
don't have one investor have another investor back up once you build it up. Even if you don't have investor back up, like you're also doing flip, etc., then do a wholesale deal. Wholesale it. If it's not gonna be a flip, turn it into student rental, a secondary suite, and multifamily rebuild. Always have different ways of getting the deal done.
I see.
And the first thing is the number has to work.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Something I never realized about real estate is that you could technically take out all of your capital that you use, which when I found that out, kind of like the folds in my brain just collapsed. Like it's basically like you're buying a building for free once you refinance it. So I think that is pretty powerful mitigation strategy too. But like you said, like sometimes that doesn't always work, and having a backup is is key. I think that's something I'm gonna keep in my brain going forward. Two ways out.
Two and more. And also, money is not real anymore. It's not backed up by gold since the 70s. There's everybody's saying crypto. I'm not playing cryptocurrency or anything speculative, but same thing as the money we think they are today. It's backed by nothing. And the government, with its power, can just keep printing and
Mhm.
giving out debts. And everybody's saying, hey, we're so heavily in debt, it's going to collapse someday. It hasn't been, it hasn't happened, and money is not real anyways. So the whole point is, if you're working so hard towards money, making so much per hour. Once you're trading time for money, you're doomed because your time is limited and you're limiting your way of creating wealth and make money.
Yeah. Yeah, that's part of the mindset game for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Money is not really, that could be true. Yeah, I could go so deep into the Fed, they're so interesting. It's a private entity. What's going on? So
Hey, and that's how corporations make money, and that's how people came up with so many different products because they know it's not real, and it just keeps leveraging one thing upon another.
yeah, that's right. Paper stack. So I guess Brooke, what would some advice be going forward? I know if you're big on the mindset and the financial stability. So what other key factors do you think anyone starting out in real estate should learn, whether it be wholesaling or capital raising?
I will say start to take a step back, set your foundations right. So, finding out why you're doing it, finding out your goal, then find the strategy later. And I'm saying that because people just jump into it. I see people, I'm doing
True.
rent to own, right? People jump into it and say, hey, rent to own sounds interesting. I'm going to do that. Some, James, you're doing flips and you're buying properties at a discount. I want to do that. That sounds good. You're going to lose focus and then that might not reach you to your goals. So I keep going back to, I also mentioned to you, hey, you and your partners can sit down and decide on your collective goals because you're doing everything together, right? So for people who are married like me, then you discuss with your spouse, what is your collective goal? What are you working towards together? Then go into different strategy. There's tons of different strategies. That's where you get yourself educated to do it right.
Hmm.
Yeah, because yeah,
Go
then
ahead.
you will reach your goal eventually.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you have nothing to aim for.
We aim for the moon. That's true. That's important. Is defining what you want first, eh?
Yeah, and then take action. Yeah, a lot of people are thinking about it and not taking action, not doing it. And the funny thing is, once you've done deals, even if it's not perfect, you know you have the ability to make money back. So it's not that scary anymore.
True. That's true. That's where the belief check always comes in. So once you get your first uh, actual payment from whatever endeavor you're pursuing, like it doesn't really matter what it is. It just shows you that you can repeat that process over and over, and that might be the way to save you, right? So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and I think we should just save ourselves and not focus so much on business and focus on just being happy with what we got usually, and that helps with the mindset bigly.
Yeah, and and another thing is most people are saying coming to coming to the investing game thinking about actually helping other people. People don't say it that way. They're saying, hey, I want to help my family, I want to help my kids. And a lot of people have an organization they're passionate about or a cause. So it's always about helping people. So it would be fun if you're, and for sure we're providing a roof on over somebody's head, and people will always need real estate, right?
Yeah.
So it's actually, I think it comes down to it's always helping each other, helping your family, helping yourself. And people will always put in more effort when the thought is helping others. And that's a fact. And that's how we operate as people.
Was that kind of some of your motivation behind why you made your first book, Brooke?
Yes, because everybody think, oh, I don't have a story to tell. But then at the same time, you're selfish if you learn all that and you're not sharing.
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have lives too good for him. Okay.
Yes.
Well, I think like that was awesome, Brooke, and I think we got a broad overview and a lot of gold nuggets in there for sure. Um, so if there's anything else you'd like to add,
Sure. Just find my book on Amazon.
yes, find it, guys, find it right now. Financial Freedom, the Royal Way: The 7 Commandments from the Networking Queen of Real Estate by Brooke Shang, Shang. Right on.
It's very easy to read because I use my ESL English and I think I'm just talking as if I'm talking to you like this. So once you read my book, it's just like talking to me like this.
ESL. Oh yeah. Right on. I love it. I love it. Sometimes I think I need some of that in my life, honestly. I wouldn't mind going there for like a refresher. Honestly, that's just, you forget about some.
You're born here.
I know, it's bad. I need a better use over my grammar, my comma, and my period, and my punctuation.
It's okay. We have editors who do that professionally.
That's why mine's so poor, because I had that thinking and I was like, it's okay, we'll get a team for that.
Yes, that's the thing. You can always find somebody who is good at something, right?
Mhm, mhm. And so long as you can add some value to along the way, people like to work together.
And focus on what you can add the most value in. Because
Right.
everything else, if you can outsource and somebody can do it better than you, then you're not making the best use of your time or resources.
Mhm, mhm. That's true too. Yep.
Yeah.
That's a really key factor, actually, just honing in on what's the hardest thing to do that only you can do. That way you become valuable, right?
Or enjoy doing. There's certain
Yep.
things that, like cleaning my house, I just don't enjoy doing that. So I need to have hire somebody to do that. I
Mm.
mean, it's just an example. I rather do bookkeeping than, cleaning and sweeping the floor kind of thing. But everybody's different.
Right.
Occasionally, that's therapeutic. Occasionally.
Yeah. Definitely. I like it, Brooke.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on and giving everyone an introduction. And where can people hear more from you or learn more?
You can find me at Brooke at trustyourtalent.ca. That's pretty straightforward. Or any social media. I'm pretty much on all social media, and there's only one Brooke Shang because my name is pretty unique for Chinese.
Yeah.
So
That's true.
it's Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. It's all just Brooke Shang.
Okay. Alrighty then. Well, thank you so much, Brooke, and continue succeeding. And man, I'm so glad that yes, yes. And I'm so glad I get to watch the journey unfold with us, and you get to watch mine as well. So
Good
yeah,
to
I'm glad I got to meet you.
Same here. You never know who you're gonna meet at networking events, right?
Hmm. It's true. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll sign off, and yeah, if you want, call me back, and take care, everyone. Okay. See you.